We have some of our pioneers here joining us today. This is going to be a very exciting event. So the purpose of today is to get to know some of our pioneers, learn more about the Pioneer Program. What is it? How can you get involved? And how can the pioneers really help you? So today we really want to make this an engaging experience. We want to hear from you, from the audience. I see some of you are already in the chat letting us know where you're coming in from. So we're just so excited to have this group here today. And just a little bit more background. So we have a few of our pioneers being featured today, but this is going to be an ongoing series where we're going to continue to bring on different pioneers in small groups so that it's a really intimate setting and you can get to know each of them on a more personal level, right? Because I'm sure you're in the PBC, you see these folks with a badge and a rank icon, and you're wondering, who are these folks? How can they help me? Like, how can I get to know them? So that's what today is really all about, is building that sense of community, getting to know our pioneers, and hearing directly from them about why they love being part of the program and why they're in the PBC. So thanks again all for being here. We'll go ahead and get started. So I wanted to start today off interactive and make this fun for us all. So I have a little quiz for you all. So don't worry, it's not a difficult quiz, very easy, but I just kind of want to gauge where we're all at with the pioneers. Like, how much do we know about this program? So pop quiz here is, how many pioneers are there total in the PBC as of right now today? So you have A, 5 pioneers, B, 8 pioneers, C, 10 pioneers, and D, 12 pioneers. So there's literally, just take a guess. Don't be afraid. Just we want to know how many you think that there are. And I see we have some folks asking, what is the PBC? So the PBC is the Pinterest business community. So that is where we have our forums, where you can find help, where you can find answers. It's our Pinterest business community for creators, for advertisers, for businesses. So make sure to head over to our site. All right, so I see some answers coming in. All right, good. It's a mixed bag. I'm seeing a lot of C's, a lot of D's. All right, thank you all for guessing. I love this. Okay, so yeah, quite a mixed bag. So drum roll, please. How many pioneers are there in the community? The correct answer is D, 12 pioneers. All right, and today you have 4 featured pioneers, so we're going to continue keeping this going. But yes, there are 12 pioneers in the community ready to help you. They have this expert knowledge. Each of them is either a creator or a business owner, just like you, and they're there to help. So I see a lot of people guess that there were less. So to your surprise, there's actually a lot more pioneers in there ready to help. And today you're going to meet 4 amazing pioneers. So now that we've had our little pop quiz, I want to share a little bit more about the program with you all, because I know everyone here is like at a different level with the PBC. Some folks are really new. Some of you have been in the PBC for a while. So I just want to give more background into this program. Like, who are our pioneers? What do they do? And how do they enhance the community? So as you know, in the Pinterest business community, we have our forums where you can ask questions, you can find articles, you can find resources, but the pioneers are an extension of the community. And they're really here as our most engaged and active community members. And they're the ones that are really in there creating that really deep sense of community. So sometimes if you ask a question and it's your first time, you'll see a pioneer come up and they'll say, hey, welcome to the PBC. Like, let me help you. Here's a resource that you can go to. And they're really just creating that spirit of belonging that makes the PBC so special. So they're really in the community to share product knowledge, tips and tricks, share their best practices. So you'll definitely see them in the forums. They're always there to help. And we launched this program back in February. So it's only been around for a short while, but we're already seeing our pioneers contributing such amazing content, such amazing responses. And we're just so grateful to have our pioneers as part of this program because they're really helping make the PBC truly like the special place that it is. So I'm so grateful to have you all here today and so excited to just share a little bit more and make sure everyone gets to know you a little bit better. So one quick note that I did want to share is that our Pioneer program is growing. So we will be officially announcing our second cohort in June. So on June 1st, come to the PBC to check out. We'll officially be unveiling who these folks are, how they can help. And we're so excited because the Pioneer team is small, but a very mighty team. So we love our pioneers. All right. So without further ado, I will go ahead and jump over to introduce which pioneers are joining us today. So today we have Michael Bliss, we have Simple Pin Media, Tabby from Simple Pin Media, we have Laura, and we have Lisa, who you may also know in the community as Body, Mind, Mood. So these are our pioneers who are here to talk to us today. And I'm going to open up the floor to them and ask them some questions. And you can also feel free to ask them questions along the way. So we have our Q&A chat. So if you see over here in our general chat where we're all introducing ourselves and you look to the right, you'll see a Q&A section. So if as the pioneers are talking, you want to learn a little bit more about them or you have a specific question about how they found success on Pinterest, just feel free to drop it in the Q&A. And after our presentation with them, we'll make sure to get your questions answered. All right, so let's hop over to our Q&A section with our pioneers. So I'm very excited to start with this question is, why did you join the PBC and what do you enjoy most about being part of this community? And I'm just gonna call on names, so feel free to come off mute when you're ready to answer your question. So let's go ahead and start with Tabby.
Hey guys, I'm Tabby with Simple Pin Media. So to this question, I don't even remember how I heard about the PBC. We joined pretty much at the beginning of it, which was 2020, right, Jasmine? Early 2020.
Yeah.
So I joined and I told Kate, who's the founder of Simple Pin, I was like, I think we should be over here. She's like, okay, run with it. So I've been in the PBC since, and I think two of my favorite things about the PBC, one that I was not expecting at all when we joined, was just the networking abilities, getting to know other creators, other business owners. And then my other favorite thing about the PBC is the workshops, which you can't really find anywhere else within Pinterest. So I think that's super valuable here in the PBC.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Tabby, for kicking us off with the hot seat. Great response. I think networking is super important and such a great aspect of the PBC is like meeting other creators just like you, meeting other businesses, like folks who are in the trenches that can really help you give like a new perspective as well as product knowledge. So passing off the question to Michael, like why did you join the PBC and what do you enjoy most about this community?
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael. Just like Tabby, it was in early 2020. I was taking part in the beta offering of Story Pins, which is now Idea Pins. And we had some office hour meetups with the creator team over at Pinterest. And it was in those calls where I first heard about the PBC. So I went over there, I took a look, and gosh, right away, I was able to find 3 or 4 questions I was able to answer. So I stuck around maybe an hour, hour and a half, just getting the look and feel of the PBC. So I really enjoy the workshops and I really enjoying helping people. When I got to the PBC, I felt this is a really good fit for me.
I love that response, Michael. I think that's why you're one of our pioneers, right? It's because you love helping people. And
Yes, I do.
I get so much joy when I see all of your names like in there, like just helping and responding. And even if you may not have like the perfect answer right away, like just pointing someone to like a resource that maybe they weren't aware of before, I think that that's also what makes the PBC super valuable. So thank you for that response, Michael. All right, next up on the hot seat, Laura, why did you join the PBC and what do you enjoy most about being part of this community?
Hey everyone, I'm Laura, and much like the other two, I joined the PBC, I think in 2021. But the thing that really drew me in is that with Pinterest, unlike a lot of other platforms, I had not really connected with anyone. It was more of a, tap in, tap out type of platform, and it took me to somewhere else to get what I was looking for. But with the PBC, I was able to really connect with others and have really made virtual friends through the PBC, which has been really nice. And it was also a way for me to connect with other creators, bloggers, influencers in a way that I had not really done in the past, because with a lot of other platforms I was involved in, most of the people that I connected with were more like followers. And this was a way that I was able to really learn some things from others and, connect with people who understood where I was coming from. So that's really why that I joined the PBC.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that spirit of connection is a common theme for everyone, and that like true sense of community is super important. Thank you so much for sharing, Laura. All right, so next up, we want to hear from you, Lisa. Why did you join the PBC
Hi.
and what do you
Hi,
enjoy?
guys. Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm Lisa, Body Mind Mood. And I joined the PBC just like Tabby and Michael, early 2020. I think like March 2020. And I was looking to network with other businesses. I had a new project and I was coming to Pinterest to push it out there. And so I stuck around because I started meeting some really awesome people. And I think Tabby, Simple Pin Media, and Michael, there's a few people that have been there since the get go. And so we've kind of come through this together. And I love being in the PBC. I love helping people because I feel their struggle when I see the posts. I can totally identify. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I get that. Okay, let me help you if I can.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, Lisa. And that's such a great point that many of our pioneers have been in the community from the very beginning. Like from when we initially launched this community, like they've been there. So it's really special to have, as we continue to grow, is to have, some of these original members still in the community, still participating, and now being in a position of leadership in the community as pioneers. So we're very lucky to have you all. Awesome. All right, so moving on to our next question. I know that, within the community, we often ask our pioneers to share tips and tricks, especially because we're getting a lot of new members in the community and they're coming in and they don't even know where to start, right? Sometimes starting is the hardest part of it with anything new. So I really want to open up the floor and to hear these tips and tricks from you all about what tips do you have for those that are just getting started on Pinterest? And we can go ahead and get started with you, Tabby.
Okay. Okay. So I feel like no matter what platform you're on, like, trying to market on or whatever it is, any of those platforms can be overwhelming when you don't know where to start. And so with anything like that, I always like to tell people, pick like one or two mentors that you trust and just stick with them, because otherwise you're going to be chasing your tail trying to figure out what you should be doing next. And I mean, this might sound a little cheesy, but I do think that the PBC is a great place to be as a newbie, because, well, Pinterest has never had something like this before. And they're constantly pumping out like workshops and resources and articles. And I even saw this new landing page that you guys recently posted about for content creators, and like everything you need to know all in one. Great resources there. So things like that, they're not easy to find just like Googling. So being in the PBC, there's just a ton of resources right there for you. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, great advice. And I love that you called out the new Creator Hub page in the Help Center. That's something that a lot of folks were asking about, is like, can we have something more tailored to creators within the Help Center? And that's another great part about the PBC is your feedback is heard. Like, you know that you're coming to a place where like the Pinterest team is actively looking at these comments, even if like maybe sometimes you might not get a response. Like, we read through everything, and it really helps us create new resources for you. So I would personally just throw that in as a tip, is like feedback is so important, and having like this reciprocal place where not only like can you get something from Pinterest, but you can also say like, hey, I would like to see this, and you might see it down the roadmap. So that's a really exciting part. All right, so I'll hand the question off to Michael next. Michael, any tips for those just getting started on Pinterest?
Yeah, great question. I got a couple things. I think first, we have to understand that it's not a competition. You're not competing with anybody. This platform is about inspiration, is about putting the best version of yourself out there. And I wouldn't spend too much time caught up with the numbers. How many followers do I have? How many, the impressions going up, the impressions are going down. I wouldn't put too much effort into that. I think if you take the focus off the numbers, now I want to say that as a business owner, I get it that the numbers are important. You do want a strong customer base, and you do want to drive people to your website. But I feel if you take the focus off of the numbers and put that back on creating the best possible content, whatever that means for you, then the numbers will just take care of themselves. And you know what? You've got to be okay with making mistakes. I tell myself, make as many mistakes as I possibly can, which I do, and I just learn from them. But if you're not having fun with Pinterest, then it's time to step away. If you wake up in the morning and you're not having fun, if you think it's a chore, I think it's time to step away from that. So just be yourself, have fun with it, be willing to make mistakes, I think.
That is amazing advice. And I think it resonates with everyone. I'm just looking at the chat, and everyone is just like this resounding yes. So thank you, Michael, for those like wise and inspiring words. Is that, part of the mission is to create a life you love. And that's what Pinterest is about. So I think getting that joy from creating, right, and going back to basics, that's really powerful. So thank you
Exactly.
for that, Michael. All right, now handing it over to Laura. What tips do you have for those just getting started on Pinterest?
How do you compete with those two answers? Those were amazing. And if I could just reiterate either one of their answers, it is definitely yes, Michael, yes. I love that you put so much emphasis on having fun, because I think that is so important. And as a creator, so many times I've had to reroute and think, okay, am I having fun? Is this, am I seeking what I want to seek? Am I reaching the people I want to reach? And so many times, if we're caught up in the numbers, if we're caught up in, all of those statistics and analytics, then we can lose focus. And so I love that. And to Tabby's remark, yes, there are so many resources in and on Pinterest and through the PBC. Absolutely take advantage of them. I am continuing to find new resources. It seems like you guys are putting out stuff almost daily. And so, I'll find myself going through and finding, this and this. And it has been so helpful. There's so many different articles and chats on the forum as well about tips and tricks. So absolutely join the PBC, the Pinterest business community. If you have not already joined the PBC, you don't have to do anything to join. All you have to do is log on, and there are so many resources. And like Jasmine's saying, everyone is willing to help. I have been helped. We've helped each other, and it's been an amazing resource. Also, idea pins. love them, and that's a great way to get started. It's very similar to some of the things on other platforms, and it was a way that I was able to grow, my following, and just have fun. Don't be discouraged if your numbers rise and fall, because this is social media and that's what they do. And so don't be discouraged. Just have fun and do what you do.
I love that. Thank you so much, Laura. I think having fun with what you're doing is also super important and kind of fits into what you're all saying. So that's such a great point. All right, now handing it off to Lisa. Lisa, I'd love to hear your tips for getting started on Pinterest. I know you've been on Pinterest for a while, so excited to hear what you have to say here.
Yeah, I have a soft tip and a hard tip. So soft tip is patience. Sort of, piggybacking off of Tabby and Michael and Laura, patience and fun. It is truly a slow burn, and so you need to let it grow. I talk to a lot of people online, and they're like, "I posted all this stuff, and I did all this, and I've got no followers." And it's like, you have to give people a chance to see it, feel it, like it, do it, right? Call to action, right? Tell people what you want and they will respond. Pinners love to love, so you need to give them that. A hard tip: be thoughtful of your username when you are starting on Pinterest. I'm just going to throw that out there because I see lots of people doing like the A1XYZ32. They're letting computer apps generate their password, their usernames for them. So please don't do that. Like, be thoughtful of your username. So that was a soft tip and a hard tip for you. So
Good stuff, Lisa. I love that you gave like a hard and soft tip, actionable insights always. And if you're loving these tips, I really recommend heading over to the community because all of our pioneers have shared like articles that you can read on our community site with more of these types of tips. So if you like what you hear so far, make sure to head over to the PVC and check out some of the great content that they're sharing out. All right, so this sort of leads us to our next question is, so you're hearing from some of our pioneers, you're hearing their tips, and I'm sure a lot of you are like wondering what these pioneers specialize in, like what questions can you come to them for, like what is their area of expertise? Because part of being a pioneer is really demonstrating that you have Pinterest knowledge. And that comes in many ways, right? So whether you're a creator or an advertiser or a business, like you might have knowledge on a different Pinterest product, right? So all of our pioneers here collectively have so much incredible knowledge to share. And I want to make sure that today, as you're meeting them, you're sort of aware of their background and what they specialize in and what kind of questions you can come to them with in the PBC. And also just a quick reminder with our pioneers, we always highly recommend posting in the PBC. So if you have a question, rather than coming to our pioneers directly, their DMs and inboxes are flooded, you guys. So make sure that you are tagging them. If you have a question, post it in one of the forums so that we can all collectively benefit from those great answers, right? So this leads us to our next question, which is to please just share a little bit more about your background and what types of Pinterest products do you specialize in? So we'll go ahead and kick it off with Tabby.
So I work for Simple Pin Media, which was founded by Kate All almost 9 years ago. Really an awesome little company. It started out of a need for her family, hit after the recession, having hard times, and she worked with a blogger and she learned about Pinterest, and then it just grew from there. So now here we are, Simple Pin Media, and basically we have managed hundreds of accounts over the last few years, last 8.5 years. And we also have like two sides of the business where we manage accounts and then we teach creators, business owners, how to manage it themselves, how to manage their Pinterest accounts themselves. And what was the other part of that question? Oh, specialties. So really, it's hard for me to answer that question because we just have so many people on our team who kind of have their own little specialties. So, but we do have some specific specialties, I guess you would say, in the TPT space, teachers space, teachers pay teachers, also in the ecom space. And then I think probably just generally in strategy, for me specifically, I like to answer questions about strategy and things like that. So, especially about idea pins. So I think that's where we're at.
Thanks so much, Tabby. It's so great to hear more about like Simple Pin Media, like how it came about, and then also just like what you like to focus on, which is strategy. And I think you heard it here first, guys. So if you have any questions about strategy, you can make sure to tag at Simple Pin Media. Tabby always has really great insights to share when it comes to strategy. So thank you so much for sharing what you specialize in. All right, so now we're going to hand it over to Michael to give us a little bit more about your background and what Pinterest products you specialize in.
Yeah, okay, exactly. I have a very strong IT background. I have over 20 years experience in Linux administration, network security, network audits, network architecture. I've designed and configured and managed web servers, email servers for the corporate environment, working at the small, medium-sized companies. I worked with financial institutions, training, third-level support, and so on. So I'm able to take that experience and move it over to the PBC with the technical questions. Before I logged in here, I noticed that we had one technical question that I was able to answer specifically about the Android app versus the iOS app, why there are differences that you see. So I'm able to help there somewhat. But I think being in IT as long as I have been, it makes you be a very good listener, and you got to be patient, and you got to pay attention to details. So I'm able to translate those intangibles to the PBC. As an example, a couple months ago, I was noticing like a trend in the PBC. It's not so much the topic, but the trend that I saw was discouragement. We're seeing questions like, my impressions are way down. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to stay? Should I stay on Pinterest and so forth? So I read an article about facing discouragement and gaining followers or losing followers. So when it comes to specialization, I think I would rather call it a strength, which is the IT technical side, and then some of the intangibles of sharing my experience that I've had over the years, and just being a good source of encouragement.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Michael. And definitely, I've noticed that you're always there to help troubleshoot like technical issues, which is amazing because I personally myself am not a very technical person. So we always need somebody that is, that is their strength. So we so appreciate you. I always see you in there like trying to help troubleshoot those types of issues and also just offering words of encouragement, which is super important as well. So thank you, Michael, for all you contribute. All right, so moving on to our next pioneer to talk a little bit more about her background and what Pinterest products she specializes in. I'm handing it off to you now, Laura.
Thank you. And thanks, Michael, for saying that about being an encourager, because honestly, I would say that's probably my greatest strength too. I am definitely not a marketing expert. I am completely self-taught in the way of all things social media and marketing. I am a creator at heart. And, I would say I've always been a creator of a lot of different things. I began blogging probably 12 years ago for a local publication called Skirt Magazine. And then I kind of took a back seat. I had 4 kids at home, and most of my creating was in the way of being a room mom and things of that nature. But then I kind of dipped my toes back in several years ago, and just kind of creating online and building that resource of people that I can really connect with. and encourage, because if you're not doing it for the right reasons, if you're not connecting with people, then what's the point? And that's what I love about the PBC, because I'm really connecting with people. And I would say, as far as a specialty, I do really enjoy Idea Pens. I love the fact that it sort of grabbed hold of a less formal type of pen. You know, for a lot of bloggers, the traditional pen seemed really formal, and you know, there's a time and place for that. I have lots of those going on as well, but I love the real everyday raw moments of life. I love, you know, catching things off the cuff, and I think that that is a really relatable thing for a lot of people. I think that the whole perfection scene is completely overdone, and everybody is really wanting real. And so Idea Pens were a way for me to, which were originally called Story Pens back when they were in beta. And I was lucky enough to be able to participate in that. And, you know, now moving on, they're Idea Pens. And I love the fact that they can kind of capture a story. And it's not just A, B, and C, but, you know, sometimes I like to film them off the cuff, just like a, you know, an Instagram story or something of that nature. And so that is what I love about you know, the way that Pinterest is going. And I would say, if I had a specialty, that would be it.
I love that. Thank you so much, Laura. You brought up so many great points. Like, I think to your point about perfection, I think that that's why maybe sometimes people don't want to get started, because they want it to be perfect. So it's so nice and refreshing to hear, like, just kind of as from a creator, like, just go for it. And even if it's not perfect, like, if it's bringing you joy and it's bringing you positivity and it's good content, like, just start from there. So I love to hear that. And I think something that you're hearing from a lot of pioneers too is that positivity and encouragement, because Pinterest is a positive place on the internet. And I think part of our mission with the pioneers is to continue to foster that positivity and create an encouraging space where everyone can come to our pioneers and feel comfortable asking questions, right? Because there's no such thing as like a dumb question. If you're starting from zero and that's your question, like, we're going to encourage you to ask those questions and get started. So I love all these tips. And now I want to hear from Lisa. I want to hear a little bit more about your background and what Pinterest products you specialize in.
Hi there. Okay, so to Michael, I am a former IBMer once upon a time, so I feel you on the tech. But I actually became a personal trainer when I was in Phoenix. I went to ASU, did ACSM, NASM, so fully certified. Um, and what brought me to the PBC was actually a new venture. So I sort of changed careers a few times, and you know, I'd done it 10 years here and 10 years here and changing the career. And then the pandemic happened. And so travel was like out of the question, because that's what I was doing, was travel, because we lived in South America. And so I hadn't stopped training. I'm still training. And I just basically went back to what I love, my first love, true love. And so here I am as a personal trainer. Um, what do I specialize in? Without sounding bad, nothing, you know, I specialize in failure on social media. Okay. And if whoever's here who's not a pioneer and who's listening and ever felt that moment of failure, I feel you. However, with failure, you get back up, you do it again, you learn, and you make it better. And what I'm working on, and I'm just going to put it out there and you can ask me later, Jasmine. So, Pinterest pillars, up and coming. Think about that. Pinterest pillars. What do I specialize in? I specialize in the basics of Pinterest. So, the basic tools that you need to get going on Pinterest, but doing it right, because foundation is everything on Pinterest and really any social media. And I've had my account suspended in error. I've made mistakes on when I was doing part of the testing with the beta with the story pins, made loads of errors on that. Always had different like little glitches, and so I've failed, right? But I've always managed to come back. And so I'm taking that information and that learning experience and bringing it back to the people in the PBC, because that's what I see a lot of times is then there's this sense of, I just want to give up because I failed, or they feel like they failed, but they didn't.
Yeah.
Right. So
I love that.
That's sort of what I bring to it. I also bring to it a little bit on the ad side. The first time I ever did an ad with Pinterest was back in 2014 from Phoenix. And I remember getting the email and they said, we want money to boost your post. And I was like, what's that all about? Pinterest wants money from us? What? And I tried it. And so I'm good on the promotion side, not on the deep, dark technical side, but definitely on the promotion side and how to make it work for you. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Lisa. Such a powerful message. I love that you mentioned, how failure is really a part of growth and a part of success. So I just think that that's so relatable for so many folks in the room, right? Like on your creation journey, on your advertiser journey, and even just in life. So that's such an incredible message, Lisa. And I'm so excited to hear more about the Pinterest pillars. So let's definitely chat more about that. So as you've heard from our pioneers, they have such diverse backgrounds, different specialties, or came to Pinterest on different paths. And I think it's really special, the group that we have, and something that we all have in common is that we love to help. And that kind of brings us to the Pioneer program. And obviously still a new program, just launched in February. We're still growing, we're still tweaking it, we're still learning. But I think that the group that we have here is really special. And I'm just so excited to see where we continue to go with this. So I guess my next question for the group is, what interested you about being part of this program? I know that, for this initial cohort, you were all invited into the program. There was no application process. Like, we reached out to you. So when we reached out to you with this program, like, what was it about it that you were like, yes, like, I want to be involved in this? Just would love to hear a little bit more about that journey for you. So we'll go ahead and kick it off with Tabby.
Yeah. I mean, to be very blunt, we're a company that that is focused solely on Pinterest. So really, like, it's like we eat, breathe, sleep Pinterest, and so really we just wanted to be in the world of Pinterest as much as we could be, and this was just a really great opportunity for us, and we just I think it's awesome to be able to come into a Pinterest community and hear about other people's maybe problems or just like ideas or inspiration about what they're doing. And just that community of just Pinterest. Like, that's what we talk about here, and that's what we love. So yeah, when we were talked to about the Pioneer program, we were like, heck yes.
Amazing. I love the enthusiasm. It's like as long as it's like involving Pinterest, you're like, yes, I'm here. I'm ready. Sign me up. All right. So moving on to Michael, you're up next. So what interested you most about being a part of this program?
I can answer it this way. What you just heard from Tabby and Laura and Lisa is exactly why I love being in the Pioneer team. I do. I'm surrounded by 11 people that are just loaded with talent, and we're going to have more soon. So stay tuned. But I don't know how many times that I was answering a post and I reached out to another Pioneer like, hey, I need an extra set of eyes, or am I doing this right? Did I say this right? Am I on the right track? And immediately I'll have a response from one of them. And they're very kind, they're very experienced, and I love the way that they communicate. They don't talk down to anybody. Their answers are very easy to read, they're easy to understand, they're very thorough, and they follow up. So, I was mentioning to Jasmine a couple of weeks ago that I hope I can keep up. But we have a wonderful set of talent here on the Pioneers.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael. And just a reminder for everyone here, like, this event is for you all to meet these wonderful people, and they're all here to help you. So what a great resource is to have these folks with so much talent, so much knowledge, and just like a willingness to help. So they're very much here for you, which is, I think is incredible. So thank you, Michael, for sharing. Handing it over to Laura. Want to hear from you. What interested you about being part of this program?
Okay, Michael, you want to know if you can keep up? No, I'm the one who wants to know if I'm going to be able to keep up. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm going to share a funny story with you. When I first received this email about this meet and greet, I honestly thought that we were just meeting one another online. And then I received the official email that was like, no, this is opened up to, whoever and everyone. And I messaged Lisa and I was like, I don't think I'm qualified. So if you can relate to that, then you can relate to me. Honestly, as far as the PBC goes and the Pioneer program, I was already involved. I was already talking to people and interacting on the platform. And, with that comes giving advice and answering questions. And honestly, I wanted to make sure I was answering the questions correctly. I wanted to make sure that I was following the guidelines and that I was doing, what Pinterest was expecting. And so joining the Pioneer program just seemed like the right fit, so that I could kind of have some lead in that and lead people in the right direction. So that was really what enticed me about the program. And I am just so thrilled to be a part of it and to be a part of, all of the knowledge that comes with it. And just like Lisa was saying, there are times that I feel like I've specialized in failure, and no one on this platform has ever made me feel like, I didn't, I should know more. So there's no dumb question. Bring it to the PBC. Somebody's going to answer you, and you're not going to go away feeling like you had a dumb question.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Laura. And we're so lucky to have you here. So no, don't ever feel like that. We're so lucky to have you as part of this program. And I think that opens it up to everyone, right? Like if you feel like, hey, I'm interested in, being a pioneer down the line, and maybe like right now you're not as involved in the PBC, but you want to be, like, this program is open. Like we're all learning from each other. And as we start to open up new cohorts down the line, if you have an interest and you're like, how can I get involved? Like maybe I'm not at the place right now where I could help other people, but I want to be, like, let's have that conversation and like, let's talk about how we can get you to that place, because this is a really inclusive community and we want everyone to feel empowered to help each other. So I think Laura brought up some really great points. And now handing it off to Lisa, we want to hear from you, Lisa. What interested you about this program? Heard about
Oh, well, yeah. The very fact that I get to spend my time speaking to all of you guys is like the best thing ever. Definitely spirit of community. And just sort of, that we're all in it together feeling. And if any of you live where there's snow and you have a snow day and you're home and we're all in it together, it's kind of like that at the PBC. And yeah, I mean, people come in and, I really feel the stress for people, and I try to answer what I can because I really relate to that. And just the community itself is very welcoming, because social media is tough. It's a tough place to be. And if you have these people that are like, here, take my hand, let me help you, or here, try this, or right. It really does make a huge difference and will help you, like it will alleviate a lot of the stress, because I can read the stress and maybe not hear it, but I read it. I need this, I can't do this, and I just feel for them, right? So,
Yeah.
but community spirit and, just everyone working together is really nice.
Yeah, definitely. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we are at time, but we'll do a very quick rapid fire fun fact. We want to hear just a quick fun fact about each of our pioneers, to end it off on a more personal note. You've heard about how they're experts on Pinterest. Now, like, let's hear something fun about them, that you may not know. So rapid fire question, fun fact about you, Tabby, first up.
Well, I have this aspiring dream to be a cut flower gardener. So we just bought 2 acres, and so I just started my journey in that. Maybe I'll be the next Erin from Floret.
Incredible, Tabby. Thanks for sharing. Oh my gosh. We'll need to talk more about that during office hours. All right, next up, fun fact. Michael.
Well, I'm certainly not allowed near plants because they die around me. But I love late movies. I absolutely love going to the latest movie I can find by myself and watch it. I've been doing this since my teens, and I go on odd days like on Tuesdays or Thursday. I'm going tonight. But I do want to give a heads up. If you have a 9 o'clock meeting the next day, don't see the movie Dune at midnight because you won't be able to sleep. So heads up for that.
That is a very good tip, Michael. Thank you for that. All right, next up, fun fact. Laura.
Okay, a fun fact about me is I am a former pageant queen, and once upon a time, I competed in my state pageant for married women, and I was able to go on to Las Vegas and compete in the Mrs. United States pageant. And talk about feeling like you can't keep up. Super fun experience. Didn't make the top 10, but I did get to travel my state, and that really began a lot of things for me in the journey that I'm on now.
Wow, Laura, that is incredible. That is like a very cool fun fact. All right, next up, we have Lisa. Fun fact about you, please.
Fun fact, I still skateboard. And my husband and I had done a charity type of skateboard where we actually ordered skateboards for the guys in the park because a lot of the kids were sort of didn't have the money always to buy skateboards and buy certain things and help them sort of become skateboard influencers, maybe the next Tony Hawk. So we spent a lot of time at the skate park. We were like the park parents, and we would pay medical. We paid for their skateboards. We paid for all kinds of stuff to help them because I have a 13-year-old. And so, yeah, and I'm trying to get to Venice Beach because I want to skate the bowl, not tricks. I just drop in, do my thing, and get out.
Incredible, Lisa. We'll need to see some skating videos. And also when you're in Venice, let me know because I am in LA. That wraps up our time. Thank you so much to our pioneers for being here today and sharing more about yourselves. Reminder that this is going to be a series. So we're going to have our next batch of pioneers and we'll share an announcement when that event will be taking place. So we're so excited to continue these community events so that y'all can continue to get to know each other, build that sense of community. And again, if you're interested in becoming a pioneer, please fill out that application. Once we open up our next cohort, we'll reach out to you if it's a good fit. But either way, continue to please participate in the community. Tag our wonderful pioneers and any of your questions, comments, feedback. We love to hear from you. And thank you all again so much for being here today. This has been so great getting to know everyone a little bit more. All right. Well, that's all for us, folks. Thank you. Bye.